I don't think it's really all that customary for the drummer to have creative ideas. They just play the beat. So I left the last band that I was in and bought myself a synthesizer and a drum machine. One of the guys on the block said that it sounded like the music they play at the warehouse. Okay, what is this warehouse place? Maybe be able to test out what I'm doing, see if it relates to anything that's going on.
Hey everyone, Underground Beats here, and today we'll be showing you how I made minimal house style track inspired by SIDNEY CHARLES. You can get Ableton Live project and the samples of this track, and it's all available in the description of this video. If you have any questions, please leave a comment below and I'll get back to you as soon as possible. Peace! Welcome guys, we're here in Ableton Live. The project is 129 BPM, and let's start with the first sound, which is kick drum. It's a typical 909 kick drum. It sounds great, I like it so much, but it's not that punchy, it's not that powerful enough, so what I've done here, I applied parallel processing. I made a copy of my original kick drum and got here saturation, compression with extreme settings. As you can see, my compressor has aggressive ratio, which is 9:1, slow attack and fast release time, just not to lose that punch of my kick drum. And then I cut all my high frequencies because I don't need those here. And then I blend it up with my original kick drum. It's not that loud because if I will turn it up, it will muddy up my kick drum. And what I like the most about this technique is it makes my kick drum way more louder, punchier and powerful, but still at the same time, if you look up at my master channel, you'll not get extra volume in here. And let me show you what it's all about. So here's without. So it's peaking around -6 dB. And here's with it. As you can hear, my kick drum now is way more powerful, but I'm not still get that extra volume in my master channel, which is great. And this is amazing technique I learned from well-known DJ and producer Max Chapman. Go check him out, and let's move on to the bass line. So we got two sounds here, the sub bass and the organ bass. And let me show you the first one. This is very simple yet powerful bass line, and I made this using operator. And we got 3 oscillators here. The first one is for the main sound. The second one is to get some additional harmonics and fullness and richness. And the last one is for the snappiness and the texture. And then we got sidechain compression, which goes to the kick drum. And it gives us that nice pumping effect. For the organ bass, I got the organ 1 and organ 2. The audio is coming from this sample, and then I got here this free reverb from TAL. It's absolutely free, and I will leave a link in the description. And this echo just for some extra movement. Then I got here this layer of the same sample. I just made it a little bit shorter and placed this erosion here and cut all the low frequencies. And this layer gives that extra brightness and crunch to the sound. Yeah, I really like it. And what I've done next, I made a copy of this organ, and I took this MIDI clip, placed it here and moved it this way, and that gives that weird movement or delay. Yeah, it's really groovy, and as I said before, this is absolutely the same organ with all the same VSTs and plugins, and the only difference here is I placed this chorus just to make it a little bit wider. Alright, let's move on to the drums. So the first sound here is clap. We got 4 different layers playing at the same time. The first layer is very short and snappy clap. The second one is way more longer, and then we got third clap, which is the copy of clap 2, and I added here heavy saturation, erosion and EQ, and I made this clap just to make this whole sound way more fatter. And lastly, here's the noise clap. So what I've done here, I took a random sample with the noise on it, I placed it here and removed the very beginning of the sample. And this kind of noisy clap gives that texture to the rest of the clap. And finally I added here Ableton's delay just to make it wider. Then we have some hats. So the first sound is this super short hat. It sounds like a tambourine or something. And I got here vocoder, phaser, just to achieve that unique sound. Ableton's grain delay, just to make it a little bit wider and to get some movement, and the reverb on the top of that. Then we have these groovy skippy hats. I applied some swing here. It's Narrator 16D. And what I've done next, I get here this Ableton's MIDI device called Random, and what it does, it makes all these notes play a different volume, which just gives that organic feeling. Yeah, so these hats gives a lot of groove to the track. And next is these stereo hats, sort of tambourines, and I made it wider using Ableton's delay plugin. Next is open hat with long tail, with some fruity reverb from TAL. It gives some ambience and texture to the sound. Some rides. And finally, the hat roll. These are very fast and short hats. Those are very groovy because of the swing. And what I've done here, I made this automation clip using decay time, and what it does, it gives a lot of variation, and every individual hat has its unique decay time, which makes it less robotic, less boring. So here's with, and here's without. There's also some reverb, saturation, and delay just to make it wider. And next we got some percussion sounds. So basically I cut those samples out of a drum loop, and as you can see, some of those are louder, another ones a little bit quieter, and I done that by moving this fader, and that gives a little bit of variation. Here we got a bongo sound. And as you can hear, it moves from one side to another side. And I done this panning effect using Ableton's utility plugin. And I made automation on this balance fader. Next is this very short and snappy percussion sound, which helps to develop the groove. And it gives that sort of tribal vibe. And then we have some rim shots. So basically those are snare samples with a short decay time and some groove on it. Yeah, just keep it simple, guys. Alright, let's move on to the melody. So the first sound here is this snappy and percussive synth sound. So I made this using this free VST called Zebralet, and the preset is Dump Pass. And this is amazing free VST from UHE. It has a lot of presets, basses, pads, leads, keys, and then I got here this reverb, chorus just to make it wider, echo for some movement. And finally we have the last sound, which is pad. And I made this using Analog, which is Ableton's stock plugin. So what we got here is these two oscillators activated. So the first one is saw wave, second one is square wave, and on oscillator 2 I have pitched down by 1 octave. Then we have some noise here just for some extra texture. And on the filter section I did not use the standard low pass filter, and I used a band pass filter instead, just to achieve that paddy sound that we are looking for. Then we have some resonance, We also have some effects such as chorus, just to make it a little bit wider. As you can see, this chorus makes it even more paddy. Then we have some reverb just for some extra atmosphere, some extra space. And we have a high pass filter just to cut all those unnecessary frequencies. And yeah, that's it. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you do so, please hit that like button, subscribe to this channel, and I see you guys soon.